Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Ekamac, this is Let's Play Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. You might be wondering, hang on, what are you doing back here? Didn't you end the episode last time in front of the cathedral? I did. But it turns out that, once again, Cornelia is good that is lucky that it's such a good story because they are so garbage with how they hide these, apparently. Apparently somewhere here, someone has, apparently somewhere here there's supposed to be someone with, Cornelia. Someone has Cornelia around here somewhere? Oh wow. Oh, I've been found. I've got to get good seats for the finals tomorrow. I promised my wife I would. I was going to camp out at the arena, but the guards sent me home. So I was planning on sneaking my way back and hiding. Please, you guys. I'll give you this book if you just keep quiet about me. Receive Cornelia Chapter 10. We have a deal? Man, I hope I can get seats front and center for tomorrow. So, yeah. They continue to be extremely obnoxious with hiding this book. Like, who would ever expect that you actually have to go this way? Anyway, skim ahead. Because I'm sure you don't need to see me find my way through Grancel all over again. Alright, here we are again. All those years playing Sly Raccoon played off when it comes to stealth sections, I guess. Alright, we made it! Stay focused, Estelle. I'll go in first, stay close. Okay? I'm sorry, Estelle. I guess I misunderstood. Huh? You came after all. You. Hey, aren't you the nun from before? The one who was attacked on the scenic route? Thank you for what you did back there. I assume you got my message? That letter was yours. Why would you do something so secretive, like just to say thanks? Ah, now I get it. It was her all along. Huh? You're very observant, Joshua. Don't tell me it's Shira. Pardon me, allow me to get more comfortable. What? There's only two major female characters and I managed to get her wrong? No, is it Schwarz? Oh, okay, For a moment I thought it was Chloe. Lieutenant Julia Schwarz, Commander of the Royal Guardsmen, at your service. It's been a long time, you two. I knew you'd come. It's nice to see you again, Lieutenant. Last time was back in Rouen, right? Yes, it was. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like ages. Hey, hold on a second. Why are you in that getup? Why'd you call us here? I think why she's in the getup is pretty obvious. It's so she doesn't get caught. I'll answer your questions one at a time. First, the clothes. The Septian Church has long and deep ties with the royal family. Colonel Richard's little conspiracy had us on the run. That helped us stay hidden within the city. Oh, okay. The answer to your other question, why I called you here. If you win the final match tomorrow, you'll get invited to that dinner party at the castle, right? What I need you to do is get in touch with Her Majesty once you get inside. Man, everyone wants us to win this match. I realize that it's a selfish request, but since we're basically fugitives, there's no way for us to make contact. You're the only hope we have. Well then, this is kind of unexpected. Actually, we're participating in the competition specifically in hopes of seeing the Queen anyway. What? Joshua explained the request that Professor Russell gave them during the Leyston Fortress incident. Really now? Almighty Idios, thank you for your gift most sacred. In that case, I have only one favour to ask you. When you speak to Her Majesty, heed her counsel. Of course, that was the plan from the get-go. That non-involvement rule still applies, even in a situation like this. We'll do everything we can. I'm grateful. Please take this with you. Received Julia's letter. What's this? Give this to the head maid, Hilda, and she'll know that you've spoken with me. Her Majesty is probably under very heavy guard by the Special Ops men. Okay, the name Hilda just makes me think of, really? Do I have to? Ugh. Can't you cut little of me some slack? Just look at my noodle arms. Anyway, Her Majesty is probably under very heavy guard by the Special Ops men, but you can trust Hilda. With her help, you may be able to speak with Her Majesty. Huh, she sounds like a heck of a lady. Got it, we'll talk to her. Thank you very much. Pathetic, isn't it? Huh? I was deceived and thereby failed the one I was supposed to protect at all costs. And this happened not long after I swore I would give my life to safeguard Her Majesty from harm. You can't imagine how helpless I feel having to depend entirely on another's help. You really shouldn't be so hard on yourself. I hate to say this, but there is the chance we'll lose tomorrow's match. I'm certain you'll do just fine. I hope it's not going to be as bad as the Penguin King was. That Calvardian martial artist is extremely skilled, and you are both the children of Colonel Cassius Bright. You knew our dad, too? It's not without reason that he was known as the finest swordsman in all the Royal Army, the Divine Blade at that. Before he retired from service, I had a chance to be trained by him when he was a martial arts instructor at the military academy. If not for him, I would not nearly be as skilled as I am. I can't believe that. Dad's never used anything except a bow staff. I guess he must have given up the sword when he decided to become a bracer. His goal wasn't to kill his enemies. He wanted to improve himself and help those weaker than he. That is why he chose the bow staff as his weapon. Also, I imagine... Really? I didn't know that my use of a staff had that kind of significance. I'm sure he hoped you'd inherit that same kind of mindset. So what does it say about Joshua using twin daggers? I think he'd be proud of you. Joshua, Colonel Cassius trained both of you. I have all the faith in the world that you'll win tomorrow's match. Hearing you say that almost makes me think you're right. We'll put everything we have into it. Pardon us, this is Gransel City Guard. Due to terrorist threat, we will now be patrolling the main facilities. I apologize for the lateness of the hour, but do you mind if we have a look inside? Crap. Quite alright, thank you. Just a moment please and I'll open the door. There's another door at the back of the altar room. You can get outside from there. Okay. Please be careful. Please don't make me have to play through getting back again. This looks like a cutscene auto-travel. Well, we managed to avoid the patrols so far. Doesn't look like there are any soldiers this way. Yeah, I'm not sensing anyone. I guess the night patrols are finally done. Let's rest for a moment here, then head back to the hotel. Okay. So much is going on, it's starting to give me a headache. I'll bet. Never would have imagined it would be Lieutenant Schwarz waiting for us at the cathedral. Wait, so she wasn't who you were expecting to find there? Could it be you were thinking it'd be someone you'd known before? Well... Oh. Sorry, forget I said anything. Gotta remember the rules. Estelle, I won't ask you anything about before we've met until you're ready to tell me. I try to be careful, but sometimes it just slips my mind. Estelle, I think you've gotten a little stronger during our travels. Huh? It's overwhelming to think about all the people around us. Each and every one of them living his or her own life, all under the same sky. And every person you meet has a personality, a history, and a story to tell. Every one of them is just like us, living day by day. And this is probably the best game to illustrate that, because there is basically everyone is a named NPC that changes over the progress of a chapter. Sometimes I just have to remind myself that no one acts without cause. Nothing happens without a reason, or a motive, or an excuse. It's only when I remember that I start to feel like I might be able to reclaim parts of me I've lost. Joshua? I'm probably just fooling myself, tricking myself into accepting things I can't change. But even so, I'm grateful for having someone with me. Sky, Dad, most of all you. Joshua. So, I promise, once this whole matter is settled, if Dad comes back safely, I'll tell you everything there is to know about my past. I'm betting this is the cliffhanger that makes you want to jump straight into second chapter. Really? Really. With the stars as my witness. Okay then, we have ourselves a deal. Stell? All my gloom's gone fluttering away. Cause once you've told me what you're gonna tell me, I'll tell you what I've got to tell you. What? Oh wait, is this about that thing you've had on your mind? Yep. Gotta have to psych myself up for it. Psych yourself up. Is it really something so dramatic? I mean, if it's that important, I don't mind hearing about it now. Absolutely not! It's a delicate matter. Timing is crucial. Though I guess the situation does feel kinda right, but still no dice, not yet. I don't get you sometimes, Estelle. I swear, you seem like you're ready to take on anything now. All because we've got a big talk planned. It makes no sense. Of course I'm ready. Ain't no way I'm letting those guys keep me from this talk. I'm gonna show special ops types how much a touch of girl power can ruin their whole day. Ruin their... You really are your father's daughter. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? You better not be comparing me to a middle-aged man. Yeah, I guess you're right. Somehow I think we're gonna do just fine tomorrow. So hang on, how come Lieutenant Schwartz wasn't able to fight off the monsters on her own? Was she worried about... Oh dear. Yesterday was truly awful. I returned to the embassy overfull of spirit when those tiresome guards saw fit to stop me and cast flaming, stinking disparagements at me. I've already forgotten what I was thinking. Oh yeah, Lieutenant Schwartz... I guess she either wasn't armed at the time and was just trying to sneak closer to see if she could find the Queen on her own, but it still feels a bit odd that such a badass woman needed us to rescue her. With Titan security at night, supposedly for anti-terrorist purposes. Were you two okay? Yeah, we went to bed rather early, so we didn't have any problems. Elnan lent us something that might really give us an edge. Estelle explained that Elnan had loaned them the spare key to the Gransel sewers. Now that should come in handy. He's a young one, but he's got a real spark to him. He always seems to know what you need and when you need it. So what do you say we check out the sewers this morning? The gate is just north of the arena. Well, if it's the banquet, we could muster up one more huzzah. Okay, we've got a book, we've got it. We weren't caught. Check your usual work location. Madam Estelle, Master Joshua, today is the day of the championship, is it not? Please do take care out there. You may rest assured that I will be cheering for you. Thanks, we're gonna need all the help we can get against Lawrence. So, final match today. I don't care much for those special ops guys, so personally I'm rooting for the Bracers. Though if you tell anyone said that, I'll have you drawn and quartered. Yeah, they might control your paycheck, so I can understand the aggressiveness there. Here's a thing that I should probably keep in mind. Charging up my CP for the big tournament arc. Sewer Monster East, a ferocious monster known as a bonefish. has been spotted roving the east block of the sewers. Braces from this branch are requested to deal with the threat. These are long term. I wonder how long it would take for them to actually expire. Anyway, where would it be, actually? I guess in the east block? Wait. Would it? I'm not sure anymore. The second orbally powered clock, made in the year 1163 by the Septian calendar by Zason manufacturers. I mean, who else is there around here? This ice cream is pretty popular throughout the city. There was a big rumor that Princess Claudia snuck in here and ate some. Then her attendants came to get her and made a whole scene of it. Is it apple ice cream? Oh. I mean, it is apple ice cream, but there's also special ice cream. An ice sweet with a mysterious glow. Special indeed. Restores CP, you say? Nice. Actually, we haven't visited the History Museum. The final bout is today, right? I really wish I could go watch the fight. Maybe we can run into our professor friend. And maybe get foreshadowing to him being some sort of supervillain, because for some reason I'm just hung up on that. Gisette primed me too well. I was looking so forward to the final match too. I'm going to Bose, you see. I have a meeting with a scholar who's a specialist in ancient studies. I've got to catch an afternoon flight, so regrettably I won't be able to go to the tournament today. I didn't particularly want to part with it, but I gave my ticket to Professor Alba. Septian calendar 500 to 1100. The Septian era. The first appearance of the Septian Church occurred around year 500 and marked the end of the Dark Ages. The church, centered around the goddess of the sky Eidos and espousing an ideology of human salvation, began to take an active role in society and rapidly permeated social consciousness. Eventually, the nobility and knight class could no longer ignore the church's power, and a new order was established with the church at its center. Oh man, there's more world building here. We're not going to get to see... I don't think we're even going to find the sewers before we're done here. Ancient artifacts. Age unknown. Artifact. Noun. A relic of any shape or size found in an ancient ruin and generally of unknown or uncertain purpose. The church believes these artifacts have some connection with Septarians, gifts from Eidos, and the recovery is one of the duties that the church fulfills. Artifacts are said to have supernatural powers, but those on display here are all ones that have since lost said powers and are no longer functional. Oh, so the black orbment might be a way for them to... a newly made artifact. Yikes. Medieval loom. Septian calendar 900. A man-powered machine used to spin thread. As the Septian era continued and people became accustomed to peace, cotton and other crops were more widely cultivated and sold. This was also the era in which handcrafts with the intent to obtain money came into practice. Church Testaments Manuscript 500. A handwritten copy of the scriptures used by the church at the end of the Dark Ages. The ability to print did not exist in the Middle Ages, leaving no choice but to copy hand by hand onto pieces of parchment, not peaches. We can't read it though. Church Ritual Items. Approximately SC 900, the church has long been a source of art. This has been true since the dawn of the Septian era. It was around the year 900, however, that the current likeness of Eidos is thought to have been created. Likewise, many ritual items used by the church today first assume their present forms in this time period too. Oh hey, paintings, cool. And I guess that's all the different airships you can have. We cannot spin the camera here, darn. Professor Alba got a ticket from the director for the final match of the competition! Wish I were so lucky. Guess it doesn't matter, it's not like I have any time for that with my workload as it is. Oh, this is the backstage. We probably shouldn't be here. I'm beginning to think that I missed a really cool story arc going on around here. Ah well. Tetralic Tower Outer Wall Segment. Age: Pre-Septian? This wall segment was cut and crafted from a tetrasilic tower, a structure built shortly after the Great Collapse. Are you sure? What if it was the cause of the Great Collapse? Depicted upon it are a staff-wielding priest and a winged godlike being, typical of period Fressus. Scholars continue to examine the design for any connection with Eidos. Is that what's on there? It looks more like just a lump. Like a slime. Stone pillar with relief. Found at the bottom of Lake Valyria, adorned with reliefs similar to those found on the walls of tetrasilic towers. Is there a fifth tetrasilic tower in the lake? Floor tile. A piece of tiled floor from inside a ruined building. Broken stones fit together to create beautiful and intricate patterns. Are you going to put it back together again or just have it in pieces? A device built to hold fire, most often found near towers and other ceremonial structures, may have religious significance. Pre-Septian calendar, the ancient civilization of Zemuria. Around 1200 years ago, the advanced civilization of Zemuria was at its peak, then suddenly and inexplicably, it disappeared. A great collapse occurred, destroying the Zemurian culture and plunging its people into a dark age of ruin. The items exhibited on the first floor are from the very beginning of this era. They aren't believed to be products of the ancient civilization itself, but nonetheless its influence is clearly visible upon them, giving them immense academic work. Can I poke it? Knight's equipment, Septian calendar 500. In an era defined by conflict, war became a way of life. As a result, warriors came to wield great influence in society. This eventually led to them becoming a privileged social class of their own. The knights wield armaments like these when they went out into the battlefield, returning with more spoils and land, and gradually increasing their influence and power all the more. Septian calendar 1 to 500, Dark Age of Ruin. Immediately following the Great Collapse, the world was plunged into confusion, signaling the beginning of what came to be referred to as the Dark Ages. This era was defined by almost endless conflict between various powers and numerous nations, large and small, and lasted for 500 years. See what you did, Zemurians? You shouldn't have tampered with the act of God. Or goddess, I guess. Okay, so it's time. Part 10 of a fictional novel published in Liberal. Sister Carnelia made such haste as she aimed for the path on the opposite side of the sludge-filled channel that I could have sworn she was actually running on the liquid surface, based on my observation of the minuscule spatters her feet produced. And of course she passed me by in the blink of an eye, as the space growing wider and wider between us as I continued to trudge my way through the filthy muck. Flashes of magic erupted from the darkness by the sluice gate and ripped through the air in rapid succession, but none of them could overtake the speed at which Sister Carnelia moved. In an unyielding offensive by shadowed aggressors, the settled feculence in the depths of the channel was thrown up in the form of a powerful tsunami, and in the instant before clearing myself from its destructive path, I feared that a terrible wall of sediment would crush me under its weight and bring me to an unsightly end. With a mid-air spin to avoid the last of the oncoming magic, Sister Carnelia flew to the opposite side of the channel with incredible speed. Hurdling the wall of piled-up sandbags behind which the attackers took cover, she whirled her arms in a ferocious onslaught, one by one, but like rows of pins being struck by a weighted object. The line of standing Jaegers crumbled to the ground. Sister Carnelia's attacks were like a whirlwind of death, blurry with the speed at which they struck. They came in advancing at inconceivable angles, puncturing throats, slashing open arteries, and then they were gone. So it was that I finally reached the cobbled path beyond the stagnant channel. Not a soul was left standing besides Sister Carnelia and myself. The cathedral is at the end of the ladder just beyond this gate, she indicated as she flicked dripping blood from her fingers like a child who forgot a handkerchief to dry her wet hands. Her eyes shone with the afterglow of battle. The Jaegers can't be far behind, so we'd better hurry, she warned, and as if to punctuate her warning, the damp sound of numerous feet kicking up water as they advanced toward our present location now became clearly audible to my ears. Stepping over the handful of Jaeger corpses lying scattered about behind the sandbags, we made our way for the dry bed channel which lay ahead of us. I placed my hands on the slightly damp stone floor of the empty channel and crawled through the half-open door of the sluice gate. A falling water droplet struck the nape of my neck as I passed through the cramped opening, causing me to stop dead in my tracks. In the moment that followed, I recognized the sound of an orbment overhead on the verge of discharging a burst of magic. "Toby!" came the ostensible voice of Sister Carnelia as my vision was instantly flooded with a wave of exceeding brightness. Then in the midst of this world of blinding light came the hand of a saviour which grabbed me firmly by the shoulder. The powerful feeling of being dragged and the explosion produced by magic rupturing stone almost simultaneously. As the booming roar swept over the whole of my body, I was thrown backwards to the ground. Despite my clouded vision, I managed to somersault before landing in the prone position. Choking on the filthy puddle I had fallen face down in, I lifted my head in time to see a cloud of blackened dust being heaved from the mouth of the halfway raised sluice gate door. And as if my worst nightmare had now become reality, I watched as one after another the blockading Jaegers emerged from the smoky cloud, each bearing a glinting blade. I floundered about in the slippery mud and watched as their ranks sprang into action and closed in, their rugged facial features now visible to my eyes. Instantly rolling to the side, and he sheathed my hidden blade as I attempted to deflect a wide-arcing slash of another with my bag. The cloth of the bag, over which the sharp edge ran, split open without a sound. The paper-wrapped orbment fell onto the cobbled floor. Frantically, I searched for the orbment at my side, but I was unable to get a grip on it because of my clumsy, panic-stricken state. One of the mercenary men, his eyes intent on my throat, drew back his long sword to end my life. But before he could make his move, a dark silhouette appeared from behind him. It was Sister Carnelia. Her hands, moving with such finesse, disarmed the man in an instant and left only his sword behind before he was launched from view into the hanging shadows veiling the dank conduit. As the sound of the falling sword struck the ground with a high-pitched clink, Sister Carnelia dropped to her knees. Her soft whispered words were full of regret. "I'm sorry, Toby." With her head bowed forward, I watched in disbelief as several streaks of blood began to run down the side of her face. "It looks like the goddess may be calling you home too," she said gently. Once again, Sister Carnelia rose to her feet, her coat hanging in tatters. Eyeing her outer garment's ragged state, I knew for certain that it had been caused by the previous blast of magic. In order to protect me from harm, Sister Carnelia had used her body as a shield to absorb the brunt of the force. And now a stain of effervescing crimson blood had begun to seep through the cloth covering her breast. I swiped up the artifact which had tumbled to the ground from the hole in my severed bag, and tore away the wet paper which covered its surface. Then, with the cold lump of metal in hand, I placed it atop my orbment as I gripped them both tightly together. The sound of footfall from the Jaeger corps had by now subsided. They stood in a cluster with their swords drawn, effectively blocking any possible escape through the sluice gate. Sister Carnelia let out a shrill cry, and I, as if taking the sound to be a command to attack, unleashed the energy pent up within my orbment. The device roared, and at the instant the magic was discharged, I felt an intense wave of searing heat graze over my cheeks, as my entire body was immediately blown backwards by its powerful force. Stunned, I collapsed onto the floor. When I finally opened my eyes, I could see Sister Carnelia standing above me with her back turned to face me. Her right arm had lost all strength to function and hung limply at her side. Dazed, she slid to her knees and slumped onto the ground before me. I pulled Sister Carnelia close to myself and hugged her tightly, blasted the pack of assailing mercenaries with an instantaneous wave of magic. But then it was all over, my last stand ending as soon as it had begun. Countless razor-tipped sword tips stared down at us from all sides. Convinced I had finally reached my life's terminus, I raised my right hand and while placing false hope in my orbment that it could somehow protect us, I activated it, the last of its energy being consumed as it was drained to empty. Rolling arrow blades spun around us as I closed my eyes and accepted my fate. And behind my darkened eyelids, an endless realm of whiteness began to spread out before me. Wait, that's not it? There's one more chapter. They can't die. Well, maybe Carnelia can, but we might get a happy ending out of this yet. Okay, now we have a real reason to keep playing the game, so until next time guys, take care, I'll see you all around. Still can't remember where the sewer gate is.